Always trust.
We ask the questions.
What is needed in the world?
Jemenska aktivistica i dobitnica Nobelove nagrade za mir, Tawakkul Karman, jedna je od najpoznatijih žena širom Bliskog istoka. Za Jazeeru govori o stanju ljudskih prava u arapskom svijetu, uspjesima arapskog proljeća, ali i o izazovima borbe protiv autokratskih režima.
So Tawakkul Karman, hello and welcome to the Al Jazeera Balkans channel, and thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be with you.
All right. So now, in your remarkable career as an activist, you have advocated for democratic change in both Yemen and the wider Arab world. Now, could you elaborate what were the main catalysts that propelled you at the forefront of this sort of activism in your life?
The situation, of course, in my country, Yemen, made me, thinking about how can I do something different in my country. So the poverty, the corruption, the terrorism, which is, supported by the dictator, the dictatorism itself, all these, things made me, from early age, I was raised by my dad, by my family to be an independent woman, and also to be in the front line. And also knowing the constitution, the laws from my dad also prepared me for this role as a human rights activist and as as a democrat, activist. So all these things made me know what is my ability to help my country and the need of my country, telling me every day since I was a child, what can I do to give it this big answer to this big question? I should be the one who make my country better, who free my country from dictatorship, from poverty, from illiteracy, and I still put this my question and all this thing in my burden.
Right. I mean, your work has been associated with non-violent forms of civil resistance and activism. Now, can you elaborate on the strategic advantages, but also limitations of employing such methods against authoritarian regimes?
Look, it's very important, to use non-violence in front of any kind of violence that you expect. And it's the most important tool that you guarantee that you will achieve your goals with less sacrifices, and even if it will take a long period.
But is it as effective as violent methods?
It is effective. But also we can't blame those people who use violence to free their countries, like what is happening in Ukraine in front of Russia, what's happening with
Palestine.
Yeah. So it's very important. But the non-violent, it's a very important tool. It's a very successful tool that people can use it in front of tyranny, in front of corruption, for all your human rights and dreams. To achieve it, you have to use and practice non-violence. So with violence, the price is more and expensive, and also the sacrifice will become big. The victory, if you have a noble value in both things, with violent or non-violent, if you have determined to free your country, to reach to your justice, to achieve your goals, maybe it will be, you will guarantee it. But with non-violent, it's most important than that.
Now, could you elaborate to our viewers in the Balkan region what has been happening in Yemen? Sort of a summary over since 2011, since the Arab Spring began. We have seen the topic of one dictator, and then an aggression by Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates, with lots of foreign meddling. Where do things stand today in Yemen?
Look, Yemen currently facing an ugly counter-revolution led by Saudi Arabia and Emirates, and from other hand, Iran. So those three countries doesn't want Yemen to be a democratic country or to win in its peaceful, revolution. And both of them want, to take, the advantages and the wealth of Yemeni people in Yemen land. Yeah, we are facing both projects, the outsiders, and at the same time, we are facing like proxy war between them inside Yemen. Both of them fed and support militias in Yemen, but at the same time, there is a people in Yemen still, against both projects, against Saudi, against Emirates, against Irani. They don't give up, and they will not give up. And because of that, you don't see that they prevail in Yemen. It's still, there is people, they are still determined, they still sacrificing and struggling for democracy, which is 3 countries doesn't want it, for peace, for security, for development, and people are in Yemen still there, and they are so strong. They are much stronger than the militias that belong to those countries.
Right. Now, Tawakkul, if you look back at the Middle East since 2011 until today, I mean, many observers, especially those in Western Europe and the United States, were quite quick to denounce the Arab Spring as a failure. But when I read Noah Feldman's book, The Arab Winter, A Tragedy, I found his arguments quite sensible in the way that he argues that the Arab Spring itself, despite all its shortbacks, was a genuine and a genuinely noble and collective effort by Arab-speaking people at self-determination and their attempt to topple autocratic regimes. Now, is it too early now to speak about the successes or the failures of the Arab Spring, bearing in mind that even after the French Revolution, it took at least 150, 160 years for the French state to mature into a proper democracy?
Of course, it's too early to say that any revolution, not just the Arab Spring, any revolution that it's just in its 12 years that you said that this is successful or fail, especially when it's become revolution against dictators, not one dictator. So, but for me, I see the Arab Revolution succeeded in its very good in its first step, which is force 7 dictators through just 12 years. Imagine they left, their authority under the power and under the determination of people, of Arab people, for democracy and freedom. So there is no fail. There is obstacle that faces Arab Spring. There is challenges that faces Arab Spring, and this is something very regular in every revolution. But the problem, of course, began not from the people themselves, because the revolution itself, it's continuous, every day, every minute, in all Arab Spring countries, in Yemen, in Tunis, in Syria, in Egypt, in Libya, in Sudan, in Algeria. Imagine 7 countries now, they are still, there is a continuous revolution. But at the same time, the biggest challenges, which is the counter-revolution, the revenge of the counter-revolution led by Saudi, Emirates, and Iran from one side, and also the absence and the conspiration of the international community, Russia and China from one side, and also the Western countries that they are, they claim that they support democracy.
Did you expect more help from the West?
Look, I'm not talking about expecting help from the West, but I expect that they have. I was expecting that they should, that they supposed to fulfill their commitment to support democracy and freedom in general, not support dictatorship. So the problem is not supporting the revolution. The problem is that they supporting the dictators. They supporting the counter-revolution. They supporting the military coup in Egypt. They supporting the militia in Libya. They supporting the Houthi militia in Yemen, and Saudi and Emirates in Yemen with their war. So the problem is not that we calling them to support our revolution. No, we call them to stop supporting dictators.
Right,
so because of their supporting dictators, they give the dictators the
legitimacy in a way,
the legitimacy from side. They give them the life kiss. They make them strong. But again, nothing is stronger than the will of people. People are there in all Arab Spring countries. They didn't give up. They will not give up until they will reach to the freedom. And this is not just talk. This is not just dream, dream is very important. But this is in the field. People are dying. People are in the prison. People in the diaspora. All of us still, struggling and continuing our effort to make our revolution succeed.
Right, but I mean,
and also when they said it's failed, how can you say this revolution failed while revolutions take tens years, hundreds of years, and until now you are trying to make to protect your democracy, even which is now under the threat. So, but I'm very sure that we will not take all that time that Western countries took it for achieving, for making their revolutions successful. But at the same time, we don't ignore that there is really, really big challenges because of the regional and and international conspiracy against the will of people for democracy.
Right, but Tawakkul, I mean, if you look from if you look at things from a broader perspective, so the Western states, and precisely the United States of America, have been talking about the need to reform the Middle East, to improve human rights record, to introduce democracy. Then when there was a genuine attempt from a grassroots level by Arabs in the Middle East to topple dictatorships and introduce democracies, they opted for stabilocracy, and in fact, they, of course, as you said, they openly supported having autocrats in power. Why? I mean, why is it for them? Why is there a fear of having a democratic state?
Yes,
in the Middle East?
Yes, unfortunately. Why? Unfortunately, they built their policy toward our countries in a mistaken policy, which is they think that those dictators will guarantee their interests in the region.
But that's true to a certain extent.
No, that is not true. That is not true. In the short term, maybe it's true, but in the long term and in the real result, they are not. First of all, those dictators pose the great risk to the global security. Mm-hmm. Those dictators, they support terrorism inside our countries and outside our countries. And if there is many reports talking about how dictators supported Al-Qaeda and supported the ISIS, and they use the terrorism as a tool to oppress their people and also to blackmail the West. Right. And also at the same time, the terrorism, led, to the threat to the global peace. Right. This is number one. And also the dictators itself, when they oppress their people, that means that they make their countries unstable. They destroy their countries from inside. They're killing their mass killing in their people, their oppression against their people, that force their people to flee from their countries. So people, when they flee to their countries, they go to Western countries. So that huge numbers of immigrants, of refugees, is a result of the alliance of the dictatorship with the Western governments. They support those dictators directly or indirectly, and that cause all that millions of refugees and to their countries. And also, which is a very important thing, and this is evident. It is not just because it is not just again analyzed now with the invasion of Russia to Ukraine. With this, the big crisis now that is threatening all the world peace. What is happening now? The dictators are coming together. Those dictators, they have alliance with Putin, not with America, not with Britain, not with France, not with any other Western countries. So they build their policy in a very mistaken, agenda and the plan. No, their interest with people, not with the dictators. If they want really security and global peace, they have to support democracy, the real democracy in our countries. And again, when we talk about supporting democracy, we didn't tell them to come to interfere. No, we tell them just to stop giving those dictators, giving those military coup, giving those militias the legitimacy, and freeze their assets. Right. Don't give them. And as you deal with Putin, when he invades Ukraine, when they have a lot of international mechanism to stop him, we just want 2 or 3 mechanisms of this that to stop those dictators. But something is the opposite. They make their alliance with dictators more and more, and the result, they are, those dictators not just threaten our countries, they threaten also their countries inside their country, inside, their nations.
Right. Now, let me ask you something. I mean, when the Arab Spring just started in 2011, many prominent Western academics and journalists, who are, of course, very influential when they write articles as, opinion makers and decision makers, they had this unfounded idea, or claim rather, that having a democracy in the Middle East risks bringing Islamists to power, right? And somehow, the counter-revolutionary axis, the UAE and Saudi Arabia, they played on the same fears of the West, saying that it's better for us monarchs to stay in power, because if we are toppled, you'll have Islamists in power. So do you see now that European governments, far-right European governments, and Arab dictators and monarchs are on the same page when it comes to democracy?
Look, my answer about this before, the revolution in Sudan may be different than my answer now, and I will give you the 2 answers, and both of them are correct. My answer is that democracy, we should respect democracy and the right of people to choose their ruler. And this is the main demand of our peaceful revolution. It's the expression rights, is democracy, is accountability, is good governance. And all of that will not be if you ignore or marginalize one part of the society and you said that they don't have to be in the public life or in the political life. And this include the Islamist or any other, the leftist or any other, from right, from left, give the chance to all the people to participate in the election, in the fair election.
And to choose who they want to
have.
have.
They have to choose. And then the people, as they choose them to be in the power, they are, with the election, with democracy, will be able to vote to them again and to remove them from the power. So this is something else than what we face with the dictators, that they live, decades and started to inherit their power to their families. So this is number one. People, every citizen has the right to participate in the public life. And if you marginalize this group or that group, you put him in a very bad condition. You limit his expression rights, and maybe you will force him to use violence, to use violence act to have this right, and this is not right. You force those people to be extremism. You force those people to be terrorism. You have again, either they are Islamist or socialist or from left, from right, anyone. We have to accept democracy as it is. As the democracy in the Western governed people bring the far right to the power, but I am sure that the same people who put this far right to the power, they are the same people that they will let them live. This is one answer before the Sudan revolution, and it's still the same answer.
After the revolution?
But in addition to that, the problem is not with the fear of Islamists. After, if you see what is happening in Sudan, the revolution in Sudan was against Islamist people in the Sudan. And what was the result? The Western countries didn't support Sudanian people. And until now, with the war now between army and between the militias, still they don't support the revolution. And the revolution itself was against the Islamist authority in Sudan. So the problem with those countries is not with Islamists or liberals or no, it's with democracy. They don't want democracy to be in our countries. They think that we don't deserve democracy, and the democracy doesn't fit to us. And when I'm talking about that, I'm not talking about all West. I'm talking about the governments, the policymakers, not all the people. And they have to be awake. They have to know that they are doing wrong. And now the rise of the far right, extremism in Western countries, the hatred, the racism, came from their policy on supporting, dictators, and on their policy on being away, on ignoring and avoiding, their values of democracy and human rights. So, unfortunately, their problem with us is did those people deserve democracy or not? So, and the answer came from Sudan. Do you understand? Do you understand what I mean? So if they supported the people in Sudan against the Islamist people, we said, okay, yeah, they are with the revolution, they are with the change, but actually they didn't.
So are you saying that the Arab world is on its own?
Arab world?
Is on its own without any...
Look, it's our affair. People, we have to believe that it's our affair to win this battle for freedom and democracy. And at the same time, we need partnership. We shouldn't give up, our hope and our relationship and our way to convince all the world, including, Western governments, that our battle is a noble battle. And this is a democracy. And we don't want anything but the democracy,
right,
equality, and freedom. So we shouldn't give up. Yes, they are in the wrong side of history, but at the same time, we shouldn't give up on them. But at the same time, we shouldn't feel that we will lose the battle if we are alone. Yes, we are alone in this battle, but absolutely we will win it.
I mean, do you still have the strength to try and convince the Western governments that this is a noble battle? I mean, when you clearly see that Western governments are much more happier doing business with Arab dictators and monarchs than with democratically elected governments.
They have to. It is not for us, it's for them. It's not for us, it's for them. When Putin invaded Ukraine, he thought that he will be out of accountability. He thought that he has the green light when he invaded Syria, when he killed Syrian people, when he displaced with Bashar al-Assad more than 10 million of people. So the threat of dictators is not just an internal threat to us. What happened? Putin went to Ukraine and started, now he is threatening the world with the nuclear war. So it's not for them, it's for global peace. If they really, now it's the time for all Democrat people, the camp of democracy to be together, right, against, the camp of tyranny, because otherwise the tyranny will not just double our countries. It's really, their threat is really, go toward the well-democratic countries.
Right, but Tawakkul, are you, when you mentioned Syria and Bashar al-Assad, are you disappointed that Arab governments are normalizing their diplomatic relations with Bashar al-Assad's government?
Unfortunately, I was hoping that they were serious when they announced that they are against Bashar al-Assad. But I knew before that they play games. So I don't expect from them that that they will continue boycott Bashar al-Assad. No, it's something very expected.
They did boycott him for
no,
10 years.
They are, all of them, they are dictators. All of them, they are dictators. What do you think from Saudi or Emirates do you expect from them? I expect I didn't expect from them to be against Bashar al-Assad, and I knew, but I was hoping, that's good. When they announced that they are against Bashar and his regime in the beginning of the revolution, but at the same time I was, I had hesitation. But what is now happening? It's the reality. But what was under the table now, it's.
What about the normalization?
But I believe in people, yeah.
What about the normalization of relations between Arab states and Israel?
Look, this is the problem with Israel is something. Look, all the dictators.
It's quite massive now. Morocco, Sudan, Emirates.
It's the camp
Bahrain,
of dictators.
Yeah.
It's the camp of dictators.
But Turkey's not a dictatorship.
Their normalization with Israel, not just because they want to normalize Israel. They want to protect their thrones. they want to maintain their, tyranny regime. So it's kind of how we will normalize with Israel, not for the sake of Palestinians, not for the sake of peace in the region. No, we will normalize as a government with Israel, to protect us and to protect them. And this is again this is the camp of dictators. And support Israel is with them. Israel support them in the Arab Spring countries, support the coup in Egypt, support the Mohammed bin Salman, support Mohammed bin Zayed. They support them. They support the dictators. So they love each other and they protect each other.
What you said makes sense for autocratic regimes in the Middle East, but you have a parliamentary democracy such as Turkey, which is also now normalizing relations with Israel, with the UAE, with Egypt, with the Saudis.
This is a very important question, and I hope Turkey don't give up the values that they announce in it. They keep on supporting people and the freedom of people, the democracy of people, and I know that Turkey is in a very hard situation economy, but I hope they will not, this closing relationship, especially with Saudi, with Emirates, will not cause the harm of people, especially in Turkey. So I hope that will not change a lot from the policy of Turkey. It's with the economic interests, that's good. All of them, they are countries in the region, that's good, but it shouldn't attack the people inside Turkey, especially the Syrian people, Yemeni people,
right.
Egypt people, and also the announce of the Turkey government and the Turkey president. They will be always with the true side, the good side of the history, which is the will of people for freedom and democracy. I hope Turkey will not change its policy toward the people, against, the tyranny and injustice.
Right, Tawakkul Karman, it was a pleasure speaking to you. Thank you so much once again for your time.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here in Sarajevo, and I love Bosnia, and I will come again. And thank you for hosting us. Thank you.